Hey everyone, I'm Kevin with Victory 4x4. In today's video, we're going to install our rear lower MOLLE panel in the back of this 4th Gen 4Runner. Now with these lower MOLLE panels, there's a couple different ways you could be installing it. You could still have your factory carpet and floor set up in here and still get this thing installed. It just kind of changes which brackets you use. This 4Runner, unfortunately, is already missing those components because we did our floor install in here for our off-grid cargo floor, which is kind of what's riding around in this one permanently going forward. So we did take that out just to be able to show you how the lower brackets go in for those of you that are still running factory floor and carpet assemblies in there. So we will walk you through those lower brackets the best we can, again, without having the carpet, and then we'll get our cargo floor back in here to show those of you running our off-grid cargo floor how to get your lower MOLLEs installed as well. So we're working over here on the passenger side to get ours installed. The two lower brackets are going to be these two that I have here. The slightly larger one goes toward the rear, leaving this slightly smaller one to go in toward the front. Starting out with the rear bracket, these are both going to bolt down essentially in the same locations as the factory cargo tie-down hooks, like the one that I have here. So that's going to be down in each corner as well as up front behind the seat. Now without any carpet in here, this is pretty quick and easy. You find the M6 button head that we provide along with a washer. If you're planning to keep your factory cargo tie downs, you slide that through there and through our bracket and thread it right back in to the factory location down here. And essentially the whole stack up should look something like this. You then still have some slotted adjustability from side to side here so that you can get your panel kind of out as far as possible, nice and tight to the forward plastic trim along the side. Now what we want you to do and are going to recommend you do so that this is tight down to the factory sheet metal in here and not just sitting on the carpet is we actually want you to make a slit in your carpet essentially in line with this vertical face of the bracket. So you're basically just putting this in the first time to mock it up and mark out that location. You could even just put a small black Sharpie line on your carpet to know where to cut. And then that carpet typically cuts pretty easily with a utility knife. You'll then just be able to slip the bracket down in through that slot, line it back up out here, and essentially just have this vertical surface of the bracket exposed when all your factory carpet and everything is installed in here. When it comes to your front bracket, it kind of just goes in the opposite orientation, so the mounting surface is actually out away from the lower mount. It's going to bolt down on these little raised platforms up here on the front. These are again under a factory cargo tie down, as well as somewhat of a like tapered plastic trim panel that is covered in carpet up here. The goal is to get this kind of fed in between that panel and the plastic outer trim here, but I will caution you, you may have to trim just a little bit out to clearance for this, depending on how well your trim panel lines up and fits in here. So again, we're going to be using an M6 button head from our bolt pack with a washer on here. And then we'll thread that into place. So once tightened down and installed, the front bracket should look something like this. Again, yours will have that carpeted trim panel as well as your factory tie down on top out here. But keep in mind, you will have access to this hardware as well as the hold down hardware for the rear bracket once everything's installed. So you can leave these just a little bit loose for now and tighten those up all at the end once your whole MOLLE panel is in place. When it comes to mounting the top side of the panel, this will be the same regardless of your floor configuration. You're basically going to have two of these U-shaped style brackets. The one for the back here is the one that I have in my hand. It's just a little bit shorter than the one that's in the front, but again, they're very similar, and we provide you new M6 button head hardware for those. And then we actually use 1/4 mounting hardware out here on the panel side of things. Now, since this already has our rear window MOLLE installed, we're not going to take this all back out to go back through how to install those brackets. You can take a look at that rear window MOLLE installation video for the most in-depth look at how to get those installed. Now with all of your mounting brackets in place, you can then grab your panel. You'll kind of slide it in here and get it roughly lined up. I like to start by hanging the top edge of the panel on the two upper brackets, so we'll get our hardware lined up there and through both of our MOLLE panels here. Now admittedly, these upper ones can be just a little bit tedious since you do have to both install the bolt from out here and then reach in behind to get the nut installed. But if you take your time with these, you can work with your fingers through the MOLLE panel holes on this front one. It's not too bad to get those done. With your top hardware in but still loose, you can grab the 1/4 button heads we provide and install them into both of the bottom mounts. These will go through the panel and into the pre-installed nut on those lower mounts. Now at that point, you should have all your mounting fasteners in place. You can then take a 5/32 hex and tighten up all your panel mounting hardware, and then grab a 4mm hex to tighten up the 2 lower bracket mounting bolts. Now I'll take just a minute to kind of swap everything out in here and get our cargo floor back in place to show those of you running that cargo floor how to get the bottom side of this panel installed. So now in this configuration with the cargo floor installed, we've still got the top of the panel bolted in up here. I already went ahead and installed our middle and front mount down there, but not to worry, you're not really missing any details because they all use the same 3 mounting brackets like I have here in my hand, and we'll show you this one in a little more kind of close-up detail on this rear lower mounting hole. Now these mounting locations should have a short 1/2" bolt in them. If your floor is already installed and assembled, you'll need to remove that and you'll replace it with a longer 3/4 inch 1/4 button head. That's going to go through the non-threaded mounting slot there on your bracket, but you'll first want to slide the bracket in behind the panel, and then you can get that bolt installed down here. You'll tighten that lower bolt just enough that it's out of the way and you can get tools and hardware into this top location. This should be another one of the 1/2" long button heads up here. You can go ahead and start that. And then you'll want to repeat this installation process at all 3 mounting locations before tightening anything up. With all your mounting hardware started loosely, you can use your 5/32 hex in this configuration to tighten everything up. Once you have all your mounting hardware tight, this installation is now complete. So as always, if you guys have any questions at all about this product or anything we offer here at Victory 4x4, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can always send us an email at info@victory4x4.com or call us at 269-459-8447.